Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast That Wouldn't Die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool would give up a chance for a 30% discount.
Explorer's been hit. Explorer, do you read? Explorer, over. Explorer. Astronaut is off structure. Dr. Stone is off structure. Dr. Stone, detach. You must detach. If you don't detach, that arm's going to carry you too far. Listen to my voice. You need to focus. I'm losing visual of you. In a few seconds, I won't be able to track you. You need to detach. I can't see you anymore. Do it now.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast That Wouldn't Die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hello, hello.
This week, we're discussing the science fiction classic, and it was actually nominated for Academy Awards and things. Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock, and ever so briefly, George Clooney. And if you're really paying attention, Ed Harris. How about that? Boom.
How about that?
How about that indeed?
I was watching it and I was like, oh, this is some shit that I bet got nominated.
Best picture. Best picture. How about that?
It was not the best picture. It was not the best picture.
Each week.
I don't even know what it was up against. And I'm going to say it's not the best picture.
I don't remember either. Each week we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics, and I guess Academy Award winners of the horror and sci-fi genres with a comedic twist. Aaron, what's the latest with you?
Dude, well, currently my hair is green. Unintentional.
Perfect.
I dyed it brown for my niece's wedding, but it's overtoned, so it just washes out. But apparently when brown washes out, it is a canary yellow underneath, which is not washing out. So I went to dye it. I thought I had some pink. I did not, so I put blue, but it's like a strong blue. I thought it would disrupt the yellow, but as we all learned in art school, blue and yellow make green.
That is true.
So now the blue is washed out and all is left is the green. So I am going on a cruise, maybe without green hair. I just went on Amazon. I'm like, how do I wash this? It's only like a semi-permanent. There's no lift, but it is not going away.
No.
So we'll see. My hair could be straw by the next time you see me. Also, it is 90 degrees in March. And whatever it is living in my lawn is biting my feet when I walk to and from my car. So from my ankles, anything exposed is just covered in bites.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So that's a fun thing. So I'm ready to nuclear bomb my front lawn.
I think the sun's doing it for you today. Right now. Yeah.
If only.
It was 100. It was like over 100 in Long Beach when I got in the car on, I think it was on Tuesday, maybe, or Monday. Where I was just like,
we're not that hot.
This is the
spring time.
I don't know when this episode's going to drop. It may be summer when it drops, but it is mid-March. This is supposed to be like the birth of spring, and yet it's 1,000 degrees here in beautiful downtown Long Beach.
I was just talking to a gal from work. You know, when you're a teacher and you retire, you can do a retirement project.
Mm-hmm.
You can work for 180 hours. So she flew in from Michigan, and she's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "What's the weather in Michigan?" And she's like, 40. It just snowed.
Right. It's like snowstorms in the east.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is lovely.
Burning hot fire from the sky. I blame Donald Trump.
I mean, not even a joke. Not even a joke. So good times had by all. Sweet Jesus. No, it's a thing. I mean, it's hotter than hell. And I've got I still have like winter attire or winter adjacent attire that I'm trying to crack in, and I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it. It's too hot for that.
Yeah. Too damn hot.
Too damn hot.
Well, yeah, my son's got the air conditioning rolling.
Oh, it's yeah.
They
We're
see
gonna have
me
a bill for
rolling. They're hating.
Now you're going on a cruise. Where are you cruising?
I'm on a river cruise with our parentals from Belgium up to Holland.
That sounds dynamite, by the way. I was talking to Dad about
We'll
that.
see.
I want to.
Yeah.
Yo, we'll see. Non-committal.
I worry because I get seasick. And I used to feel queasy at the boat dock up in Lake Arrowhead.
Oh shit. Yeah, this
Those
you
boats
shouldn't
go
get
by
Yes.
and the dock kind of rocks a little bit. I was like, oh.
I thought you were gonna say I'm worried about taking care of our elderly parents around Europe.
No, I think they have like a butler in their stateroom. They can throw mom over one shoulder and dad over the other one. I'm worried
a
about just,
manservant.
like,
That-
yeah, exactly. Mr. French will be taking care of
Mr.
them.
That's a deep pull.
That's a deep pull, Gen X.
Honestly, that's so deep. Like I never saw Family Affair. I don't think it was on reruns growing up. I only know it like
I think I
tangentially.
saw it as a. I saw it as a rerun.
Yeah. How about Mr. Belvedere? Would that work? I remember Mr.
I
Belvedere.
didn't watch that shit. My palate is so sophisticated
well,
that
Mr.
would not
French.
register. That was when I was a baby. I had a Mrs. Beasley doll.
Did you?
You
No.
don't even know what that is.
No, that's from Family Affair. Was it Jody?
That's
and
right.
What was the girl's
Buffy
name?
and Jody.
Muffy. Yeah.
Buffy, not Muffy.
Buffy. Right. Well, it's what is it?
Buffy
It's
and Jody were the twins.
Brian Keith is a confirmed bachelor with a butler, and he now has to raise his niece and nephew. Is that it? And hijinks
I
ensue.
think it was a movie, and then it's spun off.
And then it became a thing. It was basically like Different Strokes before Different Strokes, essentially. Right? If that may be too deep
with
a pull.
Irish people.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about that's a show that's 40 years old. So
Yeah. How about the phrase reruns?
Yes.
That's a deep pull.
God damn it. It's a sad situation.
I was in
Anyway.
San Francisco, and one of my colleagues was up there for a speech conference or whatever. And at the end of the Polaroid convention, they were talking about one of the Go-Go's has an art show of Polaroids she took from back in the day. So I dragged her over there, and I was like, it's so exciting. She was there, and Jane Wheatland showed up.
I did not
so it was
recognize them. You sent the
No.
pictures. I said, bullshit. Those are just some weird old ladies.
Dude, they're small as pixies. They're
Oh,
small.
absolutely.
I could have put them both in my purse. They're petite. She had no idea who they were. In the Uber onto our next stop, I had to put the music on. I was like, "What? What do you mean you do not know who the Go-Go's
Like,
are?"
even when you said the Go-Go's, that didn't ring any bells?
Like when she was 1 foot away from one of the Go-Go's and we're surrounded by paraphernalia and their music. How about that?
Still
How
not
about
ringing any
that?
bells.
Still not ringing a bell. I think she recognized some of the musicians from the Polaroids, but she didn't know who the those people were.
I always had a little soft spot in my heart for Jane Wheatland. She was a cutie back in the day.
She went, and she had that cute little voice too. I
100%.
saw them at Cruel World last year. I thought they were dynamite.
Yeah. Well, she wrote a lot of their music too, Jane Wheatland.
Well, a little historical fact. Well, maybe it's true. That they basically wanted her to kind of spread her writing money out to the
Yes.
rest of the band at the next contract, and she said "F off" and left. That's when she left the band.
Well, and I've talked about this before. I am very sympathetic to the band being like, "Hey, we should all split everything equally." I'm sympathetic to that in theory. But if you're
Right.
in your room at 2 a.m. with your notebook composing this shit while, the bass, well, whoever, one of the other people is next door doing lines of coke
Right.
and passing out in their vomit, maybe you don't get as much is the question.
Well, and there's a difference between you willing to do it
Yes.
and
you
being
demanding.
told that you were going to have to if you were
Right.
going to continue on as
Correct.
a go-go.
Now, I said this, I expressed this to Brianna, our sister, because number one, the idea of writing music is so alien to me. I don't know how anybody's able to write
I don't know how
music.
people. I don't know how. I mean, I can see lyrics. If you gave me some music, maybe I could write some lyrics. Not very good, but I don't understand how you. And then this sound comes, and this one, and then we're gonna put a
Right.
xylophone here, orchestration, and all that. I don't what the.
Right.
Your brain
No,
works different.
totally. And we're creative people, but this is
And
a
we're
whole
and
nother
we're creative.
level.
Yeah,
This is a whole nother level. So
they're
I'm
floated in space. Yeah,
100%. So what Brianna said though is, yes, when somebody writes the music, but when you go into the studio, it is much more of a collaborative thing at that point. Suddenly each
Correct.
person kind of adds their flavor to whatever it is you created. So who's to say? I don't know if there's a right
I have read that, I'm a Depeche Mode fan.
Yes.
And my understanding is Martin will give you like a skeleton, and then everybody's allowed to contribute. Now, on the record, his name's on there. What he does financially, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have heard him say, hey, go for it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. If they wanted to, and they talked about this on Queen, that initially it was all Freddie Mercury, and later they said it needs to be written by Queen going forward. And he was fine with it. He was fine with it.
I mean, eventually, if you're investing well, how much you don't need to have Jeff Bezos, the precious money,
I agree. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. Let's get this train back on the tracks.
And why was Jeff Bezos at the Academy Awards? Because that's all over my stupid TikTok.
Because Amazon makes movies.
Owns everything. Oh yeah, that's
and they own everything. I'm sad to say. Anyway,
yes.
Give us your 30-second synopsis of Gravity, by the by.
I don't know why I found this movie so offensive, but basically, I
don't know why.
Like a seasoned, grizzled astronaut and a ding dong flying through space. Bang, boom, the wrong person dies, and Diggy McDing Dong makes it to somewhere in Australia or Africa or something. The end.
So you had never seen this before, is that correct?
There was not a chance in hell that this looked like anything remotely interesting to me. Quite frankly, I saw The Martian and I wasn't that impressed.
Really?
Another Academy Award winning spectacular.
The Martian is quite good, Aaron. The Martian is quite. There's a lot going on. It's fun.
There's one dude trapped in a shell until he shrivels up and dies.
They keep cutting to what's happening on Earth and what's happening in the shuttle that's coming back from Mars. You see other shit going on. Martian's very different from Gravity, which is it's all Sandy Bullock.
I'm just saying, 2 Academy Award winning movies that I could give a shit about. How about that?
How about this? I'm going to go see Project Hail Mary, written by the same guy who wrote The Martian with Ryan Gosling, and it's just him and an alien in a spaceship. How about that?
How about this? Never heard of it.
Oh, God damn it. Aaron. I believe I saw this in the theater because it was during this time, as you know, I try to see all of the Best Picture nominees, and that year Gravity was nominated, and I didn't know anything about it going in. I knew nothing about it going in, and watching it. I watched it then, and I think I bought it this time because it was $4.99 to rent and $4.99 to buy. So I just bought it.
Yeah.
I liked
What a
it.
scam. That's a mark of quality when they're forcing you to buy it.
Right.
Also, I noticed on Amazon, at one time I wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden it started playing Melania. I was like, what?
Shut
No!
No, it didn't.
Dude, do you think I pushed a button?
You
I
pushed
was like,
that button.
I did not. I had watched Gravity, and the very next thing before I had a chance to run across the room. So now they're like, then I'm like, is this happening to everyone? Is this all part of
Just you?
the Bezoverse?
Well, and that was just basically a bribe. We'll cut you a check to make your documentary and then pay you a salary to do your documentary and then kind of throw it in a couple theaters and
No,
so it's a horror
this is
show.
a payment for Melania for all her hard work.
100%. No, I saw it for this podcast, and I should say, one of the reasons why we're watching it, and one of the reasons why it is kind of off what we usually do. Granted, we often do sci-fi movies, but we rarely
say often.
Okay, look, it's on our letterhead that we do horror and sci-fi, but we definitely
for some unknown reason.
Well, and I've said it before, sci-fi is more of a setting than a genre, in my opinion, because you can use the setting of sci-fi to tell action, drama, you can do horror, you can do all sorts of things within that setting if you're so inclined. So,
all right,
that's my personal theory, but
I can't argue.
You can and you will, in fact.
No, but with that, I'm like, that does make sense. Really, when I think of science fiction, I'm thinking of other worlds. I'm thinking Martian Chronicle. I'm thinking other things. Not just astronauts. It's an action adventure with not a lot of action.
And you could argue that this isn't even sci-fi, right?
It's like, is Armageddon sci-fi?
We covered it on this show. How about that?
I know.
You could argue
you're all about space. Let's all do a bunch of movies about space.
Non-stop space. Well, and here's the thing. It's like, you could argue it's not science fiction because it's just astronauts in space, right? Which exists currently. Right. And interestingly enough, when I was doing my research, and we'll talk about this, actual astrophysicists do not like Gravity. They like it better than Armageddon, but they have some issues, and we'll talk about that later. But what I was going to say,
I got issues, and guess what? Not an astrophysicist.
Yeah, fair. We are covering this because we were invited on the Movie Postmortem podcast to discuss Gravity. And as our dear listeners know, if we go on another show to talk about a movie we haven't done, we're definitely going to pick the carcass clean on our show as well.
100%. Now, are we going to talk about the part where on the next podcast I'm not allowed to swear? Let's discuss that also.
This is an issue. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, I sometimes bleep us when we get a little too real. I kind of bleep us. Now, it used to be I bleep anytime Aaron said anything remotely offensive, which was often. Go back.
The spice.
That's the
Dude. You can't have the chicken without the spice. Come on.
You can't You know that old saying, you can't have the chicken without the spice. It's been said before, and we'll keep saying it. No, but so occasionally we go on podcasts where they're like, hey, we're kind of G-rated. You know, we don't really swear, which
what is G-rated? Even Disney films are not G-rated. All Disney now are like PG because Bambi's mother dies. That's NC-17.
Yeah, but you're still not getting F-bombs on a Disney, as far as I know. Are they throwing, is Mulan saying some F-bombs and I'm
For
missing
7.5 hours a day, I cannot say an F-bomb. So, you know what backs up? It has to have a release.
And it's Aaron.
Are we all adults? Are we all adults, or are we not? Are we going on ultra religious podcasts to
Yes.
discuss horror movies?
Yes. We're
What's
specifically
happening?
going on the Evangelical Horror Network. So
It's
gonna
all evangel. It's all Seventh-day Adventists, and it's all horror,
100%.
and it's all Eli Roth. It's the Seventh-day Adventist Eli Roth podcast.
100%. It's the torture porn with Jesus. Yeah,
It's the Franciscans talking Fulci.
That's what it is. I remember.
I would listen to that. Where is that? Franciscans talking Fulci.
We went on our buddy Antonio's podcast, Cultworthy, and one time he only bleeped half of our F-bombs. And I said, what was up? He's like, well, I want to take it from an X to an R, is what he told me at the time.
You can't do it. Take it to an NC-17. I mean, really, it's just
Okay.
It's just the word. It's not like I'm like saying racist thing or weirdly overtly sexual comments. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to inspire race riots or a Holocaust. It's the F-bomb. Which is not a nuclear bomb anymore.
Well, some people want to listen to their podcast with their kids and not have their kids go, what does that mean, mommy and daddy?
I'm sorry, they're watching their horror movie podcast with their children.
Gravity, not a horror movie, by the way. I need to stress that.
Now you're gonna set me on a tirade. There are all these warehouse bars in my town that are set up because millennials downward don't trust babysitters. So when they want to go get their drunk on, they want a place they can bring their small children. Well, guess what? Who's not going to be curbing their language? Just because there's a giant Jenga doesn't mean I'm going to cuss more and louder.
Fair.
Because the more I drink, the deafer I get,
yes,
and
it's
the
a
louder the profanity.
It's a rule.
Louder.
It's a rule. So you're going to find an infant and just drop F-bombs right in the poor child's face like a Sam Raimi vomit movie.
Bars are not for children. Bars are not for children.
I'm not arguing that. That's fair. That's fair. Anyway. Why don't we jump right in? We're 20 minutes into the podcast. Why don't we?
Well, that'll help balance the 10 minutes we're going to spend talking about this movie.
Fair enough. Why don't you give, I was going to say, why don't you give us your 30-second synopsis? Why don't you go to the highlights? What are some highlights, Aaron, from Gravity?
You know, I really enjoy George Clooney. I like his voice. I like his character. And I was thinking, because in a lot of these movies, the women are portrayed as ding-dong. So I was trying to think, would I like this movie better if the roles were reversed? And I don't think I would.
You know, they talk
I don't like the roles where the women are just kind of stupid. Somehow she's smart enough to go to the space station, but not smart enough to follow directions or learn basic things.
Well, what they do is you have the guys who are career astronauts, or the ladies, or whoever, the people who are career astronauts, right?
Hey, I saw Armageddon. Right. I know how NASA works.
That's 100%. From your mouth to God's ears, 100%.
They basically said you can do your little programming thing, or you can operate a drill in space. Those are your options. And those are 3 weeks of training.
3 weeks, that's all you need. But they also have what they call specialists, who are special scientists who have a very specific field that they are associated with. And then they give them, you know, I think it's more than 3 weeks training, but they train them to be an astronaut to do their experiments in space, essentially. And I think that's basically what it is. George Clooney is like Lieutenant Kowalski or whatever his name is, career astronaut, and she's a scientist. She's gotten her training. Now people like complain about this, like actual like scientist or NASA types are like, even if she was just a specialist who was not a career, she would still have the training and therefore wouldn't be as likely to like flip out. Like she's constantly like they picked her up in a van on the way to the shuttle and said, "Oh, get on board. We're doing this." Right? Because she is kind of panicky. Right?
She's not listening, but she's panicky, but not when she should be panicky.
I mean,
you know what I mean? When they're like, the shit's on, get inside. Just a minute. I mean, really, George Clooney's dead because of her.
They're all dead because of her. It's all, she's to blame. One thing
I'm just telling you, why is she more valuable? Why does he sacrifice himself for her? What is the point of that?
Okay, this is a question. So, we have to have some lead up here. So they're in space doing some astronaut skywalking shit, and they talk about, one thing I like about this movie is they get cut right to it. There's no there's no 20 minutes of exposition learning about these fucking people. They're in space. 5 minutes later, bang, shit's going on.
It's literally the beginning of Armageddon.
Yes, it is.
It is the beginning of Armageddon. They're in space. Meteor flies through. The shit goes on.
So they talked about how the Russians launched a missile into space to blow up one of their own satellites for whatever reason. And that caused a cascade effect, which is real because this is a vacuum of space. Shit just is flying, okay, because of that. Debris, and if you look at pictures of Earth from space, there's literally a mountain of shit just the Earth.
Floating, waiting to fall in.
100%. So when this explosion occurs, it sends the shit from that satellite, which hits other shit, they say it's going like thousands of miles an hour. Like it's just bullets of this shit going down. And so they're up there doing their shit, and then Ed Harris is on the horn saying, "Oh shit, this stuff's coming at you. Get out of there. Drop what you're doing." She's a little slow. She's trying to push like a motherboard back into the whatever. And Clooney's like, we need to go. We need to go now. And she's a little slow going. But it seems like, in retrospect, none of that shit mattered. Like, if they'd have gotten onto the shuttle,
they were going to die. Everybody was going to die anyway.
100%. She gets her, whatever, she's on the Hubble satellite doing some shit. That satellite takes the hit, and it kind of catapults her away and flings her out into space. Bang. And you're like, is this the fucking end of the movie? Is she just going to be floating out in space by herself?
Yeah, I won Academy Award for Best Short.
Pretty much. Clooney's got one of those like jetpack things on, and he's able to get to her and save her. And she's like tethered to him now. But it is a lot of her kind of, look, I think what it is, as I'm talking about it, I think what it is she is on some level supposed to be the audience surrogate, not a trained astronaut. She's supposed to be us. How would we feel if we were in this situation? And if you look at it through that lens, that's kind of realistic in my mind. What do you think of that perspective?
I'm not saying she has to be Ripley, but why does she have to be such a nincompoop?
Okay, that's fair.
And this is coming from, I like Sandra Bullock.
I do too.
I don't like her portrayal. I feel like in all these movies, the women are like a bunch of dum-dums.
I mean, and that's the thing. She is the protagonist of this movie.
Right.
We are following her going through this shit. You're right. When it starts, there's like 5 other characters. You know, here's this dude over here. There's George Clooney telling
nobody gives a shit about any of those people. They're on the screen for a blink of an eye.
For a blink of an eye.
Most of them, you only hear their voice.
Right. True. So Clooney has saved her. They're going back to the shuttle to try to escape. and they realize the shuttle's destroyed. It was also, and everybody who's on the shuttle is dead. There's like, people floating in space. They try to rescue, take some other astronaut's body back, but they're like, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
But, and this is another issue that the astrophysicists are upset with, is the fact that in this movie, every famous thing is really close together. The Hubble is right next to the International Space Station, which is really close to the Chinese space station over here, which is not the case in reality, as you might imagine.
I suspected they're not just this little cluster. They're all just hanging out, throwing rocks at each other.
100%. Because think about that. It's like, if you're in Beijing, right? If you had to go to the distance of Australia, that would be a bit of a problem, especially if you're just like walking, right? And
You would think.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're in space over here, it's a long distance to kind of float like a ghost, right? Like at 3 miles an hour, trying to get to the other side of the earth. So, but that's all well and good. For the purpose of the story, we have to just suspend disbelief quite a little bit.
Yes.
What you were talking about is, why did George Clooney have to die? And this is a big spoiler, because Clooney's in a good chunk of the beginning of this movie, right? You think it's going to be Clooney and Sandy doing their thing. They are flying towards the International Space Station because he's running out of juice on his rocket or whatever. Right. And that's the thing about this movie. There's a lot of, we're floating along aimlessly. We can't control ourselves. Can I grab something before I just drift off into space? That's a reoccurring motif in this.
And by floating, they're going like 50 miles an hour.
Right.
Right? Because that's how hard they're hitting. So that's why Sandra Bullock can't. Can he fucking hold on to something? And if she can't manage it, I'd be like, I tried to help you, but you're too dumb to grab hold of shit.
So they are 100%. So they're flying along and are unable to grab anything. Luckily, Sandra Bullock gets entangled in some shit, some wires or whatever. And she's kind of okay. And she's tethered to George Clooney. George Clooney's whipping by. She's got him. They're kind of attached and they seem like they're okay. Right. But Clooney can see that, I guess, centrifugal force. He's pulling her and she's starting to become unentangled. And eventually is going to be detached, and they're both going to drift off into space and die.
So he should grab that umbilical cord and come towards her or something.
Well, and this is physics. At that point, he's not going to like the force of him getting whipped around. He's already been stopped by. All right. Go ahead.
Why can't she just fucking turn around and grab those cords? Because she's a dum-dum.
Here's the thing. The moment he's been whipped around and she's entangled and the tether kind of snaps and he's stopped, he's not drifting anymore. The drift is done.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? He's not drifting anymore. But they're acting like there's still a force pulling him, which doesn't make any sense. Because you're right. They're tethered together. She could grab that tether and just kind of yank him towards her, and then he'd float towards her.
He saw her doe eyes and that there was nothing behind them and realized he's fucked or he's fucked.
Right, 100%. So for the purposes of this movie, we have to ignore how that works. So he said, they lock eyes, and he realizes, like you said, either I die or we both die.
Right.
So he unhooks himself. Look, I've said this before. Clooney, 90s era Clooney is like 90s era Pitt in my mind, where they're both kind of like.
You mean when it was on Roseanne?
Well, that's the thing. I was at a bar where they were doing trivia, and they said this actor was famously on Facts of Life and Roseanne before he was fucking big. He played George on Facts of Life and later was on Roseanne. And I'm like, George Clooney.
Roseanne's sister dated her. He was like the foreman at the factory.
This is before ER. Like, he was
Yeah.
the hardest working man in show business. He was ironically on a show called ER in the 80s. That was like a sitcom starring Elliot Gould.
Oh, I'm not unfamiliar.
Not a
And
successful
then he went
sitcom.
on to the other ER.
Correct.
That was
Years
highly
later.
successful.
100%. So my feeling of 90s era Clooney, 90s era Pitt were not great actors. They became better as time went on. Now I like George Clooney a lot. Now I think he's quite good. So
I'd
when
have him over for dinner.
100%. George, if you're listening, drop a dime. Come check us out.
Doors
Anyway.
open. I'm also available to travel to your place on Lake Cuomo. I'm down to clown. Let's go.
I'm available. So he sacrificed himself to save her. And now the rest of the movie is essentially her trying to figure out the situation because she can't leave from the International Space Station because the escape pods, which I'm not even sure actually exist, aren't at the, like there's one that was kind of damaged and the other ones are not existing anymore. Like they've already been used. Somebody already escaped. So now she has to fly the escape pod from the International Space
And now
Station.
we're coming up to another thing that I find super irritating.
Lay it on me.
You see that the parachute is out. So why wouldn't it occur to you to detach that? Because clearly it's wrapped around everything.
She does go out to detach it. She goes out with a thing to detach it, but then they get struck
After
from the...
how long of that shit bouncing around? We had to watch 20 minutes of her trying to shoot off on the rocket only to bing back. And then she does it 2 more times.
She's trying to control
Where's
the
that
force
little
of
book
this.
she's going to get out? No,
Yes.
Why would you shoot off before getting rid of the parachute?
Fair enough. That's a...
And the first time it whipped you back, crushing
Yes.
you into the space station, wouldn't you stop then and say, oh, I'm going to have to go get a butter knife? I mean, there's got to be a button to get rid of that thing, you know? Where
That's a question.
I found it so irritating. I hope she got soft tissue damage from that.
I wanted to
Got
see
the
her with like a
whiplash.
vomit bag, just like 100% like Star Tours or something like that.
So very irritating.
This movie, there's a lot of like anything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong for poor Sandy. Right? It's one thing they go to the
She
space
brings
station.
a lot of this
flight.
onto herself. She brings this on. I believe she's the psychic vampire. She's the bad Penny.
She's the bad Penny. They did kind of, because this movie is notoriously light, like we said, on plot or really characterization. They try to give a little backstory on Sandy where they basically said like, there's nobody at home waiting for me. Right? Nobody cares if I live or die. I had a daughter.
I'm sure I don't have friends. I've murdered my own parents. Absolutely.
She says that. We shouldn't say that, but she says, you know, when she's like about to, at one point she's like committing suicide by sucking all the oxygen out. And she says, she's like, no one's going to miss me. There's no one waiting for me back home. And Clooney like talks to her about it. Like, she's like with those baby blues and she's like, my eyes are brown. Where it's like
And
she
then
had it.
Ghost Clooney arrives to save the day. And as soon as that happened, I was like, that's not George Clooney. George Clooney's dead.
Well, because you want it to be Clooney, though. You want it to be that.
You do.
100%. He shows up.
And he reaches in and grabs her and pushes her out in space, and then he flies home. You want that to be true, but of course it is not.
It is not. But his ghost imparts some knowledge to her and basically kind of snaps her out of her funk. And she now goes, I got this. At that point, she's on it. She's now like, I now have this newfound confidence. I can overcome these difficulties. But
How
she
about
had to.
someone fucking a better person sacrifice themselves for your life, and you're just gonna throw it away? You should have tethered him in and then cut yourself free and drifted away. If really that's your
That's what
end
she-
goal,
That would have been a different
you
movie.
son of a
That's a choice, 100%. Sweet Jesus.
boo. And let me tell you the most
Please.
irritating thing. Because one, hey, I always die in the simulation. I always die. And then she gets on the Chinese ship, and now she can read Chinese and figures out how to steer that.
Well, okay. They say
Well, what?
she doesn't read. She couldn't read Russian either. But the design. Now that you could say this is far fetched.
I mean,
but
is
the
it
design-
like set up like IKEA? Is that what it is? Because that could be a little confusing.
That would be confusing. It's basically, they said that the setup, the design for the Russian and the American ships were basically identical. Now, when she gets in the Chinese one, there's a lot of guesswork. She's like, eeny, meeny, mutton. Okay, that's not the one. She presses a button, an alarm goes, okay, that's not the one.
That is not real. There's 900 buttons.
That's fair.
You just don't paw on them. And she did reach for the guides. You can't just paw and then all of a sudden realize, oh yeah, and this button behind me.
That's fair.
Bullshit.
That's fair. So, but she lives. She made it. She survives.
I
Although,
wanted her to be a cooked little meatball.
well, and
Pops
that's
open and she's like, "Burp."
she manages to get through the atmosphere and like lands. The parachute comes out, she splashes down, and it's like, so is this shit just gonna sink to the bottom of the ocean? This is a design flaw, essentially.
It
And
does
she's
seem
like, I
like a
have
bit
to
of a
open
flaw.
this up, let all ocean water come in, and I'm gonna drown in my astronaut suit. That's how the movie's gonna end. That's like an Eli Roth movie right there. Right?
I mean, she goes from ship to ship. She can't even manage the fucking fire extinguisher. Everything she does just turns to shit.
It is.
She is
100%.
a nincompoop. She doesn't notice that fires are starting. She walks on by. Doot, 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 doot. And first of all, if everyone in the ship is dead, probably the first thing I would not do is take off my suit. Maybe that's not the first thing I do.
Well, her suit was out of oxygen, so she had to do. And they also wanted to show some schnazzy Bullock form. You know what I'm saying? They want to see her swimming around in her like short shorts,
Her
and,
boy shorts,
100%,
and yeah, of
looking
course,
good.
of course.
They do talk about
I'm
how.
still waiting for Sandy to get that really good role.
Well, okay, let's talk about this. Blindside,
Because I like her.
Blindside, not your jam.
I mean, really.
I like the Blindside.
I
Is it
like
a
The
white
Blind
savior
Side. It's fun.
film?
You
100%.
watch it. Yes.
It is.
Yes. Then she was in that one movie where she's the FBI officer with Melissa McCarthy.
What was it called? Heat?
That.
Heat? Is that what it was
Or
called?
some nonsense
The
like
Heat?
that. I think I saw that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Sandy, I'm going to call her Sandy the entire episode. She is nothing but charm. Whenever we see her like in public, whenever she does her award shows, she's the funniest person. She's like effortlessly, she's really great.
She's very likable.
She's
I've always liked her. I
extraordinarily
don't
likable.
necessarily like her movies, but for some reason I always like her. I just don't like this role.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
like the ladies are ding dongs. It's the ladies are ding dongs. You can send them in space and they're gonna fuck everything up anyway.
I mean, and that's a fair complaint. That's a fair complaint. And I guess as I'm looking through her IMDb, which I'm not, just off the top of my head, I liked her in Demolition Man. Hey, love Demolition Man. I think she's great in Speed. I think she's better than Keanu in Speed, if I'm being honest.
Come on. That's not much of a flex.
That's not saying much. But you're right. I mean, here's the other thing. She, in the 2000s, she took a lot of time off. Like there were like big breaks where she didn't do anything for a while there. Like we saw her in
she
Bird
adopted
Box.
some kids. That's when she was Remember she married
Jesse
Jesse
James.
James.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that Monster Garage?
Yeah, that was a big
And then
mistake.
they adopted some kids, so she took some time. But
Yeah.
I did see Bird Box. I was so down with Bird Box till the end, and then I was like,
I saw
as with all
Lost.
things.
I saw Lost City, which was the last kind of big-ish movie she did with Channing Tatum, and that was fun. It wasn't like amazing, but it was fine.
I didn't see it.
And she had a cameo in Bullet Train. Like, she did a cameo, and so did Channing Tatum.
I did like Bullet Train.
Bullet Train was good. It was
Bullet
fun.
Train was good.
It was.
It was good. It was a lot of fun. I thought I would literally hate it, and I did not. I really liked it.
It's fun. You have to be
agree.
okay with the violence, with the cartoonish level of violence. If you're okay with that, it's
how
fun.
many Tarantino film? I think we're okay.
I think we're
Cartoon.
okay.
I call it cartoon violence. My mom used to tell us that when she was little, kids were always getting their eyes poked out from watching the Three Stooges. Little kids would hit each other in the head with a hammer because that's what Moe did. Larry was out of control. He needed a whack in the head with a hammer.
People getting their hair torn out because they saw that shit on an episode. Yeah. 100%. It was nonstop eyeballs.
Poor Larry.
Blind children as far as the eye could see. An entire generation of blind children. Thank you. Thank you, Mo.
That is the true lost generation.
100%. Shall we go behind the scenes?
Sure. I literally wrote too much yakety yak. That was what I put here. The whole she's talking to herself the whole time. Well,
but what do you? I mean, it's like Castaway. If she hasn't talked to herself, then it's just silence. Then it's the artist or something. You gotta have some
I never
shit.
saw The Artist.
Oh God!
I suspected. Yeah, that was it. Speaking of which, because they were out of oxygen, so let's just keep talking.
Right. Well, Clooney kind of established. He said. Because he keeps kind of narrating what's happening, and she goes,
"Right,
they can't hear you," and he says, "We don't know that." But it's just kind of like it's the conceit.
He wasn't out of oxygen, so I can see him talking. Why is he encouraging her to talk when she's at 1%?
Okay, fair. Hold your goddamn breath.
Shut up, woman.
So while filming an aquatic scene, Alfonso Cuarón, the director, held his breath along with Sandra Bullock to make sure he wasn't asking too much of her. He soon found he couldn't match her lung capacity. She could hold her breath longer than he could. So
that's awesome.
Isn't that interesting? The script was finalized, or when the script was finalized, Alfonso Cuarón assumed it would take about a year to complete it. It took 4.5 years to complete this movie.
Jesus
How about
Christ.
that? The opening scene, from the establishing view of Earth to Dr. Stone detaching from the structure, is a single continuous shot lasting 12.5 minutes. Boom.
I don't care.
Not impressed.
No.
Good Lord.
They always like to throw that around. Like, meh, that's nice.
Because of Cuarón's lengthy takes, Sandra Bullock had to memorize long combinations of precise movements to hit her marks at different points in the shot. She often had to coordinate her own moves with those of the wire rig she was wearing that was attached to her in the camera.
Yeah, it's like dancing, right? It's choreography.
100%. Well,
people doing ballet have to dance for 2 hours.
The movie Gravity was more expensive than the real Indian Mars orbiter mission. The budget of Gravity was $100 million, estimated against $74 million for the Mars mission. How about that?
Lord.
The off-screen voice of Mission Control is Ed Harris, which I recognize, who played actual flight director Gene Kranz in Apollo 13 and John Glenn in The Right Stuff. How about that?
And I don't think I saw either one of those movies.
And I don't know how I didn't remember this, married to Amy Madigan, who played the crazy witch woman, Aunt Gladys from Weapons. So how about
They're
that?
like little pixie people. Yeah, they're little tiny people together.
And they've been married for like 40 years.
Bless
Look at
them.
that. God bless them. Let's see. Tim Weber stated that 80% of the movie consisted of CG compared to Avatar, which was only 60%.
I hate Avatar, by the way.
Well, I think what they said
One was
is,
enough for me.
I think what they
I know
said
it sounds
was-
like I hate
Go ahead.
everything, but there's a lot of movies I actually like.
It's just the
We're
movies
just not
we
gonna
watch.
talk about this. It's just the movies we watch for the podcast.
Basically, anything you see where it's them floating in space wearing spacesuits is CG. Like they
Right,
basically.
I mean, they're not in space. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no,
They're
what I'm
not
saying
actually
is-
in space?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it's like their faces are superimposed upon the CG image, essentially.
What you're telling me? Then why did she have to memorize movement if that's not her body?
When she's kind of swimming through like the space station, when it's not her in a suit, when it's her half naked swimming through that's with her.
So you're telling me whenever she's in the suit, that's not really happening?
I think when she's in the suit floating in space is all CG. I think. I may be wrong.
Then
That's
I like this. I even like it less. There we go.
It's kind of like when
It's
I went
animation. Then you're telling me I just watched a cartoon.
it's like when I saw Ready Player One, and it is that thing where whenever they're in the computer world, it's just animation. So I'm essentially watching a cartoon.
I
Some people
told you
don't
I
have an issue
like
with
the
that.
book. I only watched half of the movie because it was just not as good.
It just wasn't as good. I was like,
Just not as good. Ready,
Ready
Player
Player
One
One-
was a good book. It was a fun book.
right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It was like the movie was made for me, and I didn't really like it that much. I thought
Yeah.
it was it was just okay. It was kind of mid, as the kids would say these days.
I don't know if they're still saying 6, 7.
6, 7, skippity toilet.
Ooh.
The film is 90 minutes long. In reality, the International
Not-
Space Station travels at approximately 17,500 miles per hour and orbits the Earth every 90 minutes. So there you go.
It was only 90 minutes. God, it felt so long.
Shut up.
I
God damn
did. I thought this was like 2 hours at least.
Alfonso Cuarón developed the script at Universal Pictures. Universal hoped to attach Angelina Jolie to the project, but decided the film was too expensive. The film spent 4 years in development hell because the cinematography, visual effects, and realistic story atmosphere of the vacuum were too challenging. It wasn't until Avatar came out that they realized the technology was now available to make this movie in a realistic way.
So, since so much of this is CGI, I was going to say the cinematography is amazing, but it's not cinematography, right?
It all depends. It's like if you go see an animated film, there's still a director for those things.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know
call
how
it a
it works.
director.
They call it, they do though. They call it a director. They call it a cinematographer. But there are scenes in this where it isn't CG. It is really Sandra Bullock, and it really is. They had to set up the
Right.
lighting. They had to choose the lenses and all sorts of bleeds blahs. Let's talk about the cast and crew, shall we?
Let's.
Written and directed by Alfonso Cuarón. You know him from such things as Gravity in 2013, Children of Men, which I have not seen. I've heard that's quite good.
I
in
have not
2006.
seen that, and I heard it was quite good.
Add it to the
friends
list.
were telling me about it years ago. Yeah.
Y Tu Mama Tambien in 2001, which I remember hearing about when I was in
I also remember
Mexico.
hearing about it. I know no one who saw it, though.
And in 2018, he did Roma, which I did not get.
Oh my God, he did Roma. I loved Roma.
Well, there you go.
Another
was the
Academy
same.
Award. I
found
thought
it
that was
boring.
really good.
Boring and depressing is if I remember it correctly.
Well, I didn't think it was boring, but it was definitely depressing. That's for sure. Although it did make me want to go to Mexico City.
Okay, fair enough.
How about that?
How about it? Starring Sandra Bullock as Dr. Ryan Stone, which I find interesting that her character's named Ryan. You know her for The Proposal in 2009, which I enjoy.
Okay.
Miss Congeniality 2000, which I enjoy. Speed in 1994. Gravity in 2013. I'm going to look through here and see if we can see. Have you ever seen All About Steve?
No.
she that was in 2009. She, if I'm remembering this correctly, she received a Razzie. Like she won the Razzie for The Proposal that year.
I feel like she would come and accept it in person.
I think she might have. I think it was the same year, if I'm remembering this correctly, that she won The Blind Side. Like she won the Academy Award for The Blind Side and the Razzie for All About Steve.
I mean, I really like The Blind Side, but it's the same thing. It's a movie you're going to watch once.
Yeah, fair enough. She was in Crash, 2 Weeks Notice, 28 Days. How about that? No? Hope Floats.
Yeah, I saw that.
You're right. There's a lot of stinkers in here. While you were sleeping, how about that?
Kind of a stinker.
So, anywho, no, she basically started
Not a rom-com.
Yeah, there was a lot of rom-coms, and she was basically cast in movies that Julia Roberts didn't want to do. Right. She was like Hollywood's second choice, but that was The Blind Side. That suddenly she's winning Academy Awards because Julia passed.
So. Right, and I've never been a really I don't like Julia Roberts. So how about that?
I like Julia Roberts, but I'm not sure I don't prefer Sandy, if I'm not being honest.
Yeah. I mean, if Julia Roberts is in a movie, I'm like, it doesn't mean, oh shit, Julia Roberts is in it. It's not Meryl Streep. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, what's she doing?
Yeah. It's different, obviously. It's like one's a star, one's like an actor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where it's like, are you coming for the performance or are you coming for the star power? I guess that's the question. George Clooney.
I don't know who, like, what actor is gonna make me, oh God, so and so has a new movie, let's go see it.
That's a sign of the times. It's like they feel like the days of an actor opening a film doesn't really exist anymore. Because you're right, people are not running out to see actor X. Like every big star like has hits and misses, and it doesn't matter who the actor is.
And I feel it's all part of the Marvel universe. Kind of kills that, because that's the kind of movie people are saying want to see. It is not who the actor is, but which superhero are we embracing this time?
Yep, that's fair. Let's see, George Clooney. You know him from The Ides of March in 2011.
Did not see that.
Good Night, Good Luck, which I think he also produced.
I did see that.
Michael Clayton, which I thought was boring.
I saw
People
that.
love that movie, but I was just like, eh. Up in the Air.
I did see that. Apparently, I've seen a lot of George Clooney movies.
He does so much shit. I'm going to go back to the beginning.
Oh, brother, where art thou, friend?
100%. 100%.
I love that movie.
George Clooney was in 11 episodes of Roseanne playing Booker Brooks. How about that?
Booker!
He was in 17 episodes of The Facts of Life playing George Burnett. He was I
don't remember him at all. You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there you have.
He was that when it was no more Mrs. Garrett. The girls were now like 30. And Cloris Leachman was on the show as Ruth Ann.
Dating him, I hope.
No, they ran some kind of a a shop of some sort that they all worked in. They went on adventures, and George Clooney was hanging around, not romantically involved with any of the characters, to my
Dig this.
remembrance.
You talking to me about Cloris Leachman is now reminding me of The Office, with the episode where Cloris Leachman and Jack Black are supposed to be in a relationship together, and she's going up in her electric stair climber, and he's calling for her, "I love you."
Love it.
Not a big Office fan, huh? Because I'm not seeing any recognition in your face.
In 1983, Clooney was in Grizzly 2: The Revenge. How about that?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, good stuff. And where is that? I have to find. Oh, here it is. Return of the Killer Tomatoes in 1988. Good stuff. He was
I'm
the
not
hardest
sure
working
if I
man in
saw
show
Attack
business.
of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, really? It's one of those things where it's like, is it funny? I'm not sure. I would have to go back and see it. Something makes me think it's probably not that funny. It's a thing. Ed Harris played Mission Control. Unseen, just a voiceover. Ed Harris, one of my faves. One of my faves. This is what we're talking about. And an actor.
Creep Show.
Just for Creep Show. 100%. You know him from Appaloosa, which I actually kind of enjoy. It's like a Western.
I know nothing.
He was in Pollock, playing Jackson Pollock.
He did a really good job.
He was
in
The Truman Show, playing Christoph, the evil guy who was like in charge of it.
Never saw it.
He was, of course, Gene Kranz in Apollo 13. I'm scrolling through on everybody's things. I mean, he was on Westworld for a few years there.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good.
Whatever happened? Westworld went away and never came back. I was down with Westworld.
It's a thing. You can always count
really good at that.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And
he's always good.
He's always good, and he's one of those actors, just like Clooney, where they did a bunch of shit before they became big stars. He was on an episode of Chips. He was on an episode of Heart to Heart.
With a full head of hair?
Well, I'm not sure he ever had a full head of hair. But yeah, Creep Show, The Right Stuff, all sorts of good stuff. Field of Dreams, The Voice Unconfirmed as himself, starring Amy Madigan. How about that? Glenn Ross, such a good.
Oh my God, who doesn't love Glenn Ross? 100%. Oh my God.
That's about it for that. Why don't we look at the ratings? Gravity currently has on Rotten Tomatoes 96% certified fresh. Do you know what the audience gave it?
78?
79. How about that?
Boom.
Let's look at the top critics here. Peter Bradshaw, 5 out of 5. Director and co-writer Cuarón brilliantly manages to create both awe at its glorious space vistas and knuckle-gobbling tension at what's happening in the foreground.
I'm not comfortable with the phrase
knuckle-gobbling. I understand. I'm with you. As I was saying it, I'm like, what the? Okay.
You're like, what's happening?
Leonard Maltin says, Gravity is a knockout, but without Bullock's movie star charisma and every woman relatability, the film wouldn't work nearly as well as it does.
All right.
Okay. Hard disagree from Aaron.
Every woman relatability. So that's how you view every woman. Okay.
I don't think he was saying.
100%.
He was not painting that brush for the fairer sex.
He's saying women are dumb.
I think he was trying to say every man quality.
As all men know, women are dumb.
That's what he was trying to say. 100%. Let's talk to our resident in-house movie critic, AI Rex Reed, and see what he has to say.
Let's do it.
Now, I have to say, I've been feeling I haven't been enjoying the level of snark from our AI Rex Reed lately. So this time I said, and make it extra snarky. So let's see what happens. Gravity is a zero-G endurance test where Sandra Bullock spends 90 minutes hyperventilating in couture spacewear while Alfonso Cuarón's mistakes technical wizardry for storytelling and calls it profound. How about that?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Still relatively calm.
I know. Well, it's not a true Rex Reed review without personal attacks on the director and the actors. And
Make sure you put that into the description. There needs to be at least 2 personal attacks on either the cast or the director.
100%. What is your review, Aaron, for Gravity?
Slow. I don't like that the woman is a ding dong. Why can't women be in space? They don't have to be Ripley, where you're just gonna take a bite out of an alien and whatever. Something in between that could be more relatable. Maybe that would be nice.
Okay.
It was all right. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's all right. I won't watch it again, but sadly now I was forced to buy it. I think they downloaded Melania on that. That was like a twofer.
2 for 1.
Damn you, Bezos!
Still pulling whammies. I liked it more than you did. did. I thought the tension is real. The tension that you feel watching this, because it is. It's like they're in the most dangerous environment. It's like being at the bottom of the ocean, where at any time shit's going wrong. They're constantly, I'm going to fly off into space, and is Clooney going to get me? I don't know if I can grab when she opens the door to get in this thing, those doors always fling open like this, and she's like hanging on, because if otherwise it would fling
always
around.
A surprise. Every time it's a surprise.
100%. It's a surprise to me.
I just had a moment of perfect clarity.
Please.
You know what Sandra Bullock is? If this was a horror movie,
yes,
there's 2 girls running to get away from the monster, and there's one that falls down because she's being spazzy, is not paying attention, and so the monster grabs that one. Except in this case, this would be the girl falls down, and the girl in the front turns around and walks back to save her and gets eaten instead.
So which one's Sandy in this? Is she both
the one who fell? Sandy's the one who is running behind, being slow, and then falls and hobbles herself. So the person in the lead who would have survived has to go back and help her, and ends up getting killed.
I see. The one you liked better.
Is Friday the 13th.
Fair. I don't think I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 3.75. I think it's
still too much.
It's better than, because that's what I say. If it's a 4, it means it's in the rotation. That's what I always say.
Right.
5, I mean, based upon 350 reviews, 5 almost seems unattainable. So really, we're talking about, is it good enough for me to watch on the regular? And I don't know if I like it quite that much. I will say 3.75.
5 is Rosemary's Baby. 5 is The Shining.
Right. I think we've had like 2 in 350 episodes. And we don't get to 4 that often, if I'm being honest. But yeah. I enjoyed it.
We probably should have gotten to 5 more, but I kept forgetting it was a 5-point scale.
That's true as well.
I'm sorry. I'm going to call that a Sandy moment.
If somebody asked me, should I see Gravity? I would say yes. See it. I think you would say, go gouge your eyes out with Mo Howard.
Are you really into Sandra Bullock floating in space for 3.5 hours?
It's 90 minutes.
It doesn't feel like 90 minutes. As God is my witness.
As God is my witness. Any other thoughts and feelings about Gravity, or can we get on with our lives?
I'm going to turn the page on this, except now I own it. It's right up there with that fucking Cyrano de Bergerac that I paid $20 for, piece of shit. This one's sidle up. Now I own 3 movies, and the only one I like is the Elton John biopic, which is amazing.
Rocket Man, is that the one?
Oh my God, I love Rocket Man so much.
With Taron Egerton.
It was so good if you haven't seen it.
I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where it's like, would you rather have Rami Malek lip sync Freddie Mercury, or would you rather have Taron Egerton sing the songs himself?
Oh,
that's a question.
I think I think Rocket Man is better than the Queen one.
Okay.
And it's better because he's singing it. When I read that, this is not old Hollywood. You can find actors that can also sing now.
Like Freddie Mercury, that would be that's a tall order, baby. That's a tall order.
So, they hired someone to sing like that.
Okay.
So it exists. It exists.
Fair enough.
So Rocket Man, I thought was so much better.
Okay.
And I've seen it like several times, so I'm telling you.
There it is.
And I love Queen.
I love Queen too.
I saw both at the theater.
On that note, thank you very much. Go visit us across. Thank you very much. Visit us across social media. We're on Threads. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Grom is what they say. You can watch us on YouTube. Please do. Check us out. You can also email us at the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you please?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
I have some media. I am the Cult of Aaron. Join the cult on the gram. Mm-hmm. I manage our Ticker Talk. And I have artwork on First Dibs and Artsy, Instant Dream Gallery, Aaron Doherty. Check it out. Check it out.
All those good stuff. Now, as you know, we like to check in with our friends and family across the social media landscape. Aaron, what are the streets saying?
Dude, who knew Jacob's Ladder was just going to be tearing the shit up? That is like, people were like coming out of the woodwork to talk about that. Chief Ghoul, it holds up so well. Richard Roberts. I tried watching this years ago, but my sister was at our house with all her kids and she had a meltdown. Oh, Daddy No Keys. This one still messes with my head. Jordan Watson must have been before he went to Shawshank. Nah. But for real, this is a damn good movie.
Okay.
Jake Watkins. Parents took me to see this when I was 10 because my name was in the title. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
That's a good. Speaking of names in the title, there's a movie that I'm never going to watch called "We Have to Talk About Kevin." About a kid who becomes like a school shooter or some shit. I'm not watching.
We do have to talk about Kevin.
Anything else?
That's enough for now. Except if anyone knows how to get cat vomit out of a keyboard, go ahead and DM us that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to dig out my old wireless Apple One that's like 4 inches long.
Please do. Next week, we're continuing in the sci-fi vein. We're actually going to sci-fi horror, though. We're doing a movie I have not seen before, but I have had my eye on for a while. It's called Life from 2017. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Rebecca Ferguson. They're astronauts.
I'm predisposed to hate this. I'm sorry. Are we doing 3 frickin' space movies in a row now?
Well, somebody said we don't do science fiction, and I say we do.
You.
Well, maybe I said it. Unclear. Where can you watch Life? Make sure it's the one from 2017, because I think there's like a comedy with Eddie Murphy called Life, which is they go to prison.
And there's Life cereal. We could just eat that. And
I do like Life cereal. I like Life cereal original. I don't need the cinnamon. No. Just OG Life cereal. Mikey likes it, and so does K-Dog over here. How can you watch Life? Well, if you have a YouTube TV subscription, you can watch it there. How about that?
I do not.
Nor do I. In that case, you can rent it for $3.99 on Prime Video, Apple TV, YouTube, Fandango, Plex. Or you can buy it on Apple TV for $4.99. How about that? In 4K.
I'm going to save $1.
Save $1. I will as well. So check it out. Send any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on the show. So thank you very much, and be well.
Be well, children.